In this video, we look at a simplified summary of the story Millions in the Blue Ground by W.R. Robinson, which appeared in the April 1978 issue of the magazine Long John Latham's Lost Treasure. It all started in the scorching summer of 1867, when Schalk van Niekerk embarked on a visit to the humble abode of a Boer settler by the name of Daniel Jacobs. As fate would have it, his eyes were drawn to the Jacobs offspring, frolicking with a pebble that shimmered and sparkled under the sun's tender caress. Van Niekerk, captivated by its beauty, offered to purchase the stone, but to his surprise, Mrs. Jacobs playfully bestowed it upon him instead. Little did they know, concealed within this seemingly insignificant pebble lay an extraordinary secret, a flawless 21-carat blue-white diamond. Its brilliance would soon illuminate the world and earn the illustrious title of the Star of South Africa, all thanks to a shepherd boy who stumbled upon an 83-carat marvel on a Boer farm in March of 1869. This awe-inspiring discovery, distinct from the river gravel where the Jacobs diamond was found, unveiled an astounding truth. It revealed that the diamonds scattered along the riverbanks had been swept away from a magnificently opulent source, concealed beneath the earth's embrace. Then, in the hazy August of 1870, Jaap de Klerk, acting as the foreman on the bountiful Boer farm of Jagersfontein, chanced upon a peculiar sight. Nestled within a dry watercourse, de Klerk spotted delicate crystals of garnet. Curiosity ignited within him, for he suspected that these garnets might be intertwined with diamonds. With unwavering determination, de Klerk toiled tirelessly, excavating the peculiar crumbly yellow clay that covered the ground. And there, gleaming amidst the earth's embrace, lay a magnificent diamond weighing 50 carats. Jagersfontein, situated 100 miles south of the initial discoveries, had now etched its name into the annals of history. Word spread like wildfire, and a frenzied migration ensued. Countless diggers descended upon these newfound lands, their hearts aflame with hope and dreams of wealth. Among these seekers of fortune, Jagersfontein shone as a beacon of promise. The widow Visser, the land's proprietor, charged a meager sum of $10 per month for the privilege of unearthing diamonds from her pasture land. Thus, the summer of 1867 set in motion a tale of enchantment, where the humblest of beginnings led to the unearthing of vast treasures. The diamond fields of South Africa beckoned, their allure captivating the hearts and minds of all who dared to chase their dreams. In the late summer of 1870, a remarkable discovery unfolded at Vooruitzicht, a sprawling land owned by the esteemed Nicolaas de Beer. Amidst this fertile expanse, diamonds emerged from the earth, forever altering the course of history. From this hallowed ground, the illustrious De Beers mine materialized, quickly establishing itself as one of the most opulent diamond mines in the entire world. Intriguingly, De Beer himself sold his cherished land for a meager sum, seeking refuge far from the clamor of diamond diggers. Although De Beer reaped no direct fortune from the precious gems that bore his name, his legacy endured. The colossal corporation that arose from his land, bearing his illustrious name, became a titan in the global market. Meanwhile, De Beer retreated to a tranquil abode known as Colesberg Hill, an oval-shaped eminence gently rising above the vast African veld. Little did he know that this seemingly unassuming hill was a solid mass of the peculiar yellow clay that often conceals treasures beyond imagination. Alas, the diamond seekers were relentless in their pursuit. Colesberg Hill, now besieged by eager prospectors, forced De Beer to relocate once more. Over time, this very hill transformed into the awe-inspiring Kimberley Mine, a man-made abyss of unprecedented depth and breadth. A bustling town emerged on its rim, aptly christened Kimberley in homage to the distinguished British colonial secretary. Within the confines of Kimberley, a remarkable system took shape. Diggers were granted claims measuring a modest 31 feet square, and in a matter of months, a staggering 1,600 such claims were diligently worked, each owner toiling at their own pace. The yellow earth, painstakingly excavated from the bottom of these pits, was meticulously sifted, washed, and scrutinized as the relentless quest for diamonds continued unabated. As the depths of the pits grew, the sturdy walls separating them crumbled, causing entire sections of the mine to collapse. Narrow paths that connected the claims vanished into the vast chasms, swallowing horses, wagons, and men. Kimberley was a tumultuous place, but when the pits reached the water table, they began to fill with water. It was this unfortunate circumstance of flooded mines that presented Cecil Rhodes, a name destined to resonate in the financial realm, with his opportunity. Despite cave-ins and flooding, Kimberley thrived. As long as the yellow clay could be hauled to the surface, diamonds were still discovered. However, at the peak of prosperity, the diggers' worst nightmare materialized. The yellow earth came to an abrupt end, revealing unyielding blue rock underneath. Upon reaching the bottom of the yellow ground, the disheartened diggers abandoned hope and moved on to other claims. Deceitful individuals would refill the depleted claims with yellow soil and swiftly sell them to unsuspecting newcomers. Meanwhile, in Grahamstown, Dr. W.G. Atherstone, the discoverer of the first South African diamond, contemplated the nature of the yellow earth. Atherstone's thoughts were simple yet astute. He deduced that since the yellow clay was not of sedimentary origin, it must have volcanic roots, resulting from the weathering and decomposition of the solid blue rock beneath it. If this hypothesis held true, Atherstone reasoned, then diamonds were formed within a volcano, implying that there might be just as many, if not more, diamonds in the blue ground as there were in the yellow. A handful of the diggers heeded his counsel and wielded their picks against the unyielding blue rock. It proved to be the mother lode indeed. Geologically speaking, these masses of blue rock were the hardened remnants of ancient volcanic vents that extended deep into the earth. Within the limited reach of human excavation, it seemed to have no end. The towering volcanoes that once dominated the primal landscape had eroded over time. But deep within these molten cauldrons, the earth, in a final tumultuous display of fire, heat, and pressure, birthed the most precious and resilient substance known to mankind. Water remained a persistent issue, and into the tumultuous mining community of Kimberley stepped Cecil Rhodes. A pigeon-toed, disheveled young man of 21, he had arrived in South Africa 4 years prior to toil on a farm. He was not a scholar, ineligible for the scholarships that would later bear his name. However, he harbored grand dreams of wealth and empire, declaring to Barney Barnato, "I shall have it." As water began to inundate the diamond mines in Kimberley, Rhodes abandoned the cotton fields, procured a steam engine pump from Port Elizabeth, and transported it across land, becoming the busiest individual in town. His pump became a sought-after resource, working tirelessly day and night as money flowed in as rapidly as the water flowed out. Rhodes, however, had far greater aspirations than merely salvaging the diamond pits. With the profits from his pumping enterprise, he set his sights on his immediate objective: complete control of the De Beers mine. The Kimberley mine would come later. Rhodes initially acquired several modest claims within the De Beers mine, situated at the location of the initial discovery on Nicolas De Beers' Vooruitzicht farm. As his holdings flourished, he acquired additional claims, particularly those that had been exhausted of the yellow ground and were deemed worthless by their owners. His plan entailed the comprehensive amalgamation of the numerous small claims, followed by the establishment of more organized methods for diamond marketing. By the year 1880, Rhodes had become one of the De Beers' major shareholders. Joining forces with 2 other conglomerates, he established the De Beers Mining Company Limited, having an astonishing capitalization of nearly $10 million. In a remarkable turn of events, by March 1885, the corporation was already paying an impressive dividend of 7.5% to its shareholders. Rhodes exhibited his unwavering determination as he gradually overcame all resistance, ultimately securing complete control over the entire diamond field by 1887. The corporation charter granted to Rhodes by the Colonial Office was an extraordinary document, imposing minimal restrictions on the company's activities. Soon enough, Rhodes would skillfully employ this charter to his advantage. While Rhodes busied himself with ice cream sales and solving water problems in Kimberley, Barney Barnato embarked on a voyage from Southampton to Cape Town. Hailing from the Aldgate district of London, Barnato, a young Jewish lad, aspired to become a theatrical sensation. Although his dreams were never fully realized, he did perform as a clown alongside his brother and cousin. At the age of 21, armed with 100 pounds in cash and 40 boxes of terrible cigars, Barnato set off for South Africa. Anticipating his cousin's opulent lifestyle, he was instead met with destitution. Such were the unpredictable fortunes of diamond diggers, yet their unwavering spirit remained unyielding, as they valued their trade more than any other. In stark contrast to Rhodes, Barnato was a vibrant and lively individual, exuding an air of bluster and carefree demeanor. His initial foray into South Africa led him to the Kimberley Circus, where he fearlessly knocked out a professional boxer, challenging all who dared to face him. Standing triumphantly on the ropes, Barney serenaded the exuberant crowd with a spirited Cockney song. Though his dreams of stardom still burned within him, Barnato recognized that Kimberley was hardly the ideal place for nurturing the performing arts. Instead, he turned his attention towards the glittering world of diamonds. Despite lacking any personal claims to dig, Barney struck a deal with diggers to sift through the discarded debris for a second chance at fortune. When that venture proved futile, he adopted the peculiar title of a kopje walloper, traversing the diggings to purchase diamonds on the spot, with the hope of reselling them at a handsome profit. Barney possessed an innate knack for business, and dealing in diamonds bestowed upon him great wealth. In 1880, Barney joined forces with his brother Harry to establish the illustrious Barnato Brothers Diamond Company. By 1888, his coffers overflowed with several $1 million, a testament to his entrepreneurial prowess. Among his many shrewd decisions, one stood out as particularly astute. He heeded the advice of Dr. Atherstone regarding the nature of the yellow ground. Barney firmly believed that diamonds could be found in the blue ground, particularly in the areas closest to the heart of the diamond pipe. As the blue ground's productivity became undeniable, Barnato Brothers secured strategic claims within the Kimberley mine, solidifying their position in the industry. However, Barney's ascent paled in comparison to the meteoric rise of Cecil Rhodes. By the time Barnato contemplated the advantages of merging their holdings in Kimberley, Rhodes had already gained control over the mighty De Beers. Ultimately, the Barnato brothers merged their considerable assets with two other prominent companies in Kimberley, christening the amalgamation as the Kimberley Central Mining Company, Limited. Yet Barney found himself desperately needing to acquire the holdings of the French company. Only through control of these claims could Kimberley Central assert dominance over the mine. Alas, fate seemed determined to thwart Barney's ambitions, for Cecil Rhodes now loomed on the horizon, poised to make his move on Kimberley. In the realm of the French company, stretching from north to south across the mine, intersecting Barnato's holdings, Cecil Rhodes found his coveted spot. It was precisely where he desired to be, but the obstacle remained a colossal sum of money. Undeterred by the challenge, Rhodes arranged a meeting with Lord Rothschild, the esteemed head of the world's most influential banking firm. Seated behind an imposing mahogany desk in England, Lord Rothschild fixed his gaze upon the disheveled young man seated before him. "So, young man," he spoke, "all you require for this endeavor is a mere $5 million? Rhodes responded firmly, "It is not a trivial matter, nor is it a mere endeavor. We face the choice between the ruin of the diamond fields and control of the Kimberley mine." Perplexed, Rothschild inquired, "But why is this?" Rhodes explained, "Each year there exists a demand for a specific quantity of diamonds. If we produce an excess, prices plummet and we suffer losses. If we produce too few, we still lose money. The supply must precisely match the demand." Curiously, Rothschild asked, "Why then can't you settle these matters amongst yourselves?" With conviction, Rhodes answered, "One company must have dominion over the output. Obstinate individuals cannot be dealt with unless one possesses the upper hand. Our success hinges on controlling Kimberley." "But the French holdings alone won't grant you control of the mine," Rothschild remarked. Rhodes nodded, saying, "Indeed, but they will provide us with leverage, and with that, I can manage the rest." "And all you require is $5 million? Rothschild queried. Rhodes smiled confidently and replied, "$5 million to commence, my lord." Rhodes's compelling arguments eventually persuaded Lord Rothschild. "Very well," Rothschild consented. "I shall authorize the loan on the condition that you reach an agreement with the French directors." Meanwhile, one of Rhodes's associates was already in Paris, skillfully negotiating with the French. His powers of persuasion proved successful. The directors declared their willingness to sell the Kimberley claims for a total of $7 million, half in cash and the other half in De Beers stock. Rhodes was filled with exultation. Now, at last, he possessed the lever, the crucial tool to pry his way into the heart of the Kimberley mine. With his newfound advantage, he hastily departed for South Africa to exploit his triumph. However, upon his arrival in Cape Town, he was met with astonishing news. Barney Barnato, unyielding and resolute, refused to back down. Rallying his stockholders and staking his own fortune, Barnato offered the French a staggering sum of $8.5 million, surpassing Rhodes's bid of $7 million. Undeterred, Rhodes departed Cape Town and hastened to Kimberley. En route, he formulated a plan to outmaneuver Barnato and avoid wasting another penny on the vacillating Frenchman. His first move was a daring bluff. In Kimberley, Rhodes confronted Barnato and delivered a blunt ultimatum. "You may offer $1 million more than I do, but I will counter with $1 million more of my own." Barnato, aware of Rhodes's unwavering support from his stockholders and the influential backing of the House of Rothschild, visibly displayed his concern. Rhodes seized upon this advantage and quietly asserted, "Barney, you can continue bidding relentlessly, but in the end, I will prevail." While Barnato contemplated the disastrous consequences of their rivalry, Cecil Rhodes sat down and unfurled a proposal. "Barney," he said in a calm tone, "every bid we make only benefits the French further. For our own sake, I believe we can reach a mutually agreeable compromise." Barnato listened attentively. Rhodes continued, "If you withdraw your offer and allow me to complete the transaction at a lower figure, I will sell my holdings to you." Curious, Barnato inquired, "At what price?" Rhodes responded, "For a 1/5 stake in Kimberley Central and $1 million in cash." Not only was this a way out of their impasse, but it was also an offer too enticing for Barnato to resist. He would still retain control of Kimberley Central, and the acquisition of the French claims would more than compensate for the $1 million. Barnato agreed. Unbeknownst to him, Rhodes had achieved his original objective all along, a foothold in Kimberley Central. When the negotiations were completed, Rhodes found himself in control of all of De Beers, a significant portion of Kimberley Central, and with unwavering financial support. He stood at the precipice of his next move, ready to make his mark. Rhodes invited Barnato to the Kimberley Club, a modest establishment by club standards, but one that housed the most esteemed English gentlemen as its members. Rhodes treated Barnato with utmost respect, emphasizing the importance of a diamond monopoly over dinner. "Only through the consolidation of Kimberley Central and De Beers into one formidable company can we achieve true stability," Rhodes asserted. However, Barnato staunchly opposed the merger, arguing in favor of healthy competition. Rhodes persisted, engaging in countless meetings with Barnato, but all efforts were in vain. While Barnato resisted, Rhodes strategically purchased every available share of Kimberley Central at any cost. Barnato had faith in his loyal stockholders, but when confronted with the power of Rothschild money, they swiftly abandoned him, leaving him scrambling to buy back shares of his own company at inflated prices. The value of Kimberley Central shares skyrocketed as Rhodes acquired a staggering $10 million worth. With diamonds in hand, Rhodes confronted Barnato in his office, presenting him with a choice, a merger or a devastating price war. Faced with the prospect of crippling losses, Barnato reluctantly agreed to the merger. However, an obstacle still loomed. The Kimberley Central Charter stipulated that the company could only merge with a similar entity, and Rhodes's empire stood far apart in terms of similarity. A group of dissenting Kimberley Central stockholders took the matter to court, challenging the merger and further prolonging the path to Rhodes's ultimate triumph. The esteemed judge acknowledged the restrictive nature of the Kimberley Central Charter, but astutely pointed out the absence of such limitations in the Charter of De Beers. "It would be quicker to list what the company cannot do than what it can," he remarked. Hence, it was within the realms of legality for De Beers to acquire Kimberley Central rather than engage in a merger. Cecil Rhodes, with determination, penned a check for a staggering sum of $25,625,520. This canceled draft now adorns the walls of the De Beers Consolidated Mining Company, Limited, symbolizing Rhodes's triumph in gaining control over every African diamond. Barney Barnato, designated a life governor of De Beers, amassed immense wealth with his ownership of over 6,000 shares. However, the burdens proved overwhelming, and Barnato's mental faculties deteriorated, ultimately leading to his descent into madness. During a voyage to England, he tragically leaped from the ship's railing, vanishing into the frigid depths of the Atlantic. He was a mere 44 years old. Cecil Rhodes, on the other hand, lived for another 5 years. His heart attacks intensified, rendering his face a livid purple and leaving him gasping for breath. Even the abundance of African gems proved futile in granting him solace. His mortal remains were transported northward to the land of Rhodesia and laid to rest within the solid embrace of the Motopo Hills, ensconced in a formidable granite formation. True to his desires, his final resting place bears a simple brass plaque inscribed with the words, "Here lies Cecil Rhodes," devoid of dates or embellishments. His monumental ego found satisfaction in the knowledge that his name alone served as an epitaph of significance. If Cecil Rhodes's spirit were to gaze upon those majestic granite hills, he would find great satisfaction in the grandeur that his corporate empire has achieved. A sprawling dominion that spans the globe, encompassing the precious treasures of diamonds, gold, copper, uranium, and coal. With combined assets surpassing $2.5 billion, the magnitude of his success would bring a twinkle to his eye. Yet, amidst this vast empire, it is the iron grip of the Diamond Trading Company, the esteemed De Beers selling agency, that would truly warm his heart. A grip so firm and unyielding that it extends its dominion over the diamond market, even reaching the distant gems of Russian Siberia. Rhodes would revel in this unparalleled control, a testament to his shrewdness and cunning. Though Africa has witnessed numerous diamond discoveries since the days of Kimberley in lands like the Belgian Congo, Sierra Leone, and Tanganyika, the dynamics have shifted. De Beers may still wield its power to dictate prices, but in these emerging nations, the ownership of the diamondiferous earth lies with the native people. Such a notion, as expressed by Rhodes's biographer, would surely ruffle the feathers of the ambitious magnate. If you're interested in purchasing a copy of this vintage magazine for yourself or as a gift for a friend or loved one, please click the link in the description.